Now, welcome back, guys. In 1995, someone sat across from Donald Trump and said something to his face that nobody talks about today. They didn't ask him about his business, they didn't ask him about his money. They looked him in the eye and said, if you ever run for office, they will come for your life. And if we've been watching what's been going on for the last few years, we know that that was right. Now, Trump didn't flinch. Now, we're watching that moment together today. So drop it in the chat right now. Did you ever think a man like this could actually survive what they threw at him? Yes or no? Stick around because at the end of this stream, I'm going to read the strongest comments I see in the chat, and those are the ones that make the most sense. So if you're rage baiting or anything, I'm going to skip you. But if you're making sense, I'm going to read your chat. I promise. Now, you could be for Trump, you could be against him. It doesn't matter. I'm going to read it as long as you make sense. Now, you know, that's the point of this whole live stream, to engage and to ensure that we're able to kind of make sense, and that's what makes it worth reading. Okay. By the end of this stream, you're going to hear exactly what Trump said in that moment 30 years ago. And you're going to understand for the first time why everything that happened to him was never a surprise to anyone who was paying attention. All right, so let's jump into it. Now, don't forget, let's know your thoughts in the chat.
You went through some tough times, but I'll tell you something. I saw you. I forget. I saw you. I've known you a long time, and I saw you at your peak. I also saw you during those bad times. And you know what always impressed me? You were no different.
Well, thank you. That's a
You were
great
no different.
That's a good compliment. You can't take it too seriously. I mean, I know you're going to be up. I'll be up. I'll be down. You can't really. Guys like us,
Yeah, just keep coming.
You just keep coming. That's all you can do. And yeah, sometimes it's not easy. They say, come on out to dinner, and you have 400 people, and they're looking and staring, and they're saying, I wonder how he's taking adversity. But you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about other people. You learn about loyalty. I learned a lot about loyalty. I had people that I would have bet the ranch on, and they were not as loyal as they should have been.
Right.
Yeah, so we have a comment. Now, I'm going to be reading the comments that came in for this video. This video went viral, absolutely viral, with over 1.1 million views. And John Holiday, with 49 likes, said he learned a lot more about loyalty in 2017. And then it was followed up by Mike Butler, um, with 856 likes. He said he didn't have to do this, and I guess he meant run for office. He's rich. He's a rich 79-year-old. He could have retired and played golf. He did it because he loves his country and it needed saving. All right. So do you guys agree with Mike or do you agree with John? Let's know in the chat. Let's keep going.
Right. And I had people that I wouldn't have, and they turned out to be, unbelievable. Really.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So you just can't tell. It's not color, it's not race, it's not religion, it's not anything, Roger. You just can't tell.
Rich guys are often not well-liked guys. But what's interesting to me is the guy on the street, the cab drivers, the guys working on the road crews, they all go, hey, Donald, how's it going? Hey, it's almost like they feel very comfortable with you, like you're one of them. And I've never quite figured out how you bridged
The
it.
people that don't like me are the rich people. Okay. It's a funny thing. I mean, they can't stand me. I mean,
Okay, so this comment that they just made created a firestorm in the chat. So I'm going to read this comment in the chat by 6 of 6. He said, "You guys realize that saying someone is exactly the same person for 30 years is not a compliment, right?" This person obviously doesn't like Trump. Uh, Now he continues. It means he's never developed or mentally grown in his entire life. No normal person doesn't mature, evolve, and change over time. Now, if you've been following the videos, what people have been talking about is the fact that President Trump's stance on certain common sense policies has remained the same. Okay, so when people decide that they want to argue or be oppositional to someone simply because they don't like him, well, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. But let me know in the comment in the chat. Um, MS Vespid, still talking about this particular point, says, I went, oh, they had 2,580 likes. Whoa, that is big. They said I went through a red pilling back in 2017 and watched a bunch of Trump videos from decades ago. Hmm. And it shocked me, and was shocked at how consistent the guy has been from then until now. All right, so guys, let me know in the chat, is there one Democrat politician who has been consistent, for their entire career? Do you have one that is saying the same thing today that they said 15, 20 years ago? Let's know in the chat, okay? So let's keep going.
I have friends, and I have not only friends, I have enemies, jerks. They work, they hurt people, they this, they that, and then they call up, can you help me get a reservation at a restaurant, okay? I say, what's the purpose of being rich if you can't get a table at a restaurant? The people that like me are the people that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The rich people do not like Donald Trump.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, I sort of love it.
We're back talking with one of the most famous men in the country, and for good reason. He's also a really nice guy, and he does an awful lot for other people that doesn't get reported in the press. The press sometimes treats you good, sometimes they love to hate you, sometimes they love you, sometimes they hate you.
Well, they're very uneven. Some are very good, but I've met some of the most dishonest people I've ever met are in the press. I mean, they are literally some of the most dishonest, despicable people. And, when you see the public hates the press so much, the public understands. Some of the most truly dishonest, and I mean people where you tell them something, they know exactly what they should be writing, and they write exactly the opposite.
All right. So does that remind you of any news network? Put it in the chat. Now we have Bradley, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we have Bradley Boyer says this: if you honestly believe Trump is a liar relative to most politicians, you have been brainwashed by your TV. Iraq has WMDs. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Name the president who said that. Okay. Um, and they were telling the truth, right? They were the person who said that was telling you the truth, that if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. But today, what's going on with Obamacare? And then Bradley Boyer continues: Trump called neo Nazis very fine people. Do you guys remember that hoax by the press? Every one of those is a bald-faced lie. All right. Now, there's this person called Mr. Running, essentially called Trump the real liar, and the press was not the real liar. And that was what Bradley was responding to. So let's know your thoughts in the chat. And if you're watching live and you want to be part of this conversation, okay, you can put your thoughts in the chat. If you want to support us while responding to the chat, there's a link in the chat with a link to Streamlabs Super Chat. Okay, you can super chat and donate to what we do here. Let's keep going.
For the sake of a story. They're truly despicable people in many cases.
Tell me about Mar-a-Lago.
It's a fabulous house. It's the greatest house in the United States, easily by far, by any account. And it's a great private social club right now. And it's something we're very proud of. I mean, it's really taken shape.
So now to join that private club, it costs what, 75 grand a year?
$75,000 to join. And during the bad times, I'm sitting here with this house that cost a fortune to maintain, $3 million a year. And I'm saying, is this ridiculous? And I started this process to get it into sort of an income producing thing. But I really did it to save Mar-a-Lago, because ultimately, how many jerks are like Donald Trump that are going to spend this kind of money? It's truly one of the great landmarks in the country.
What did it cost to keep that up?
About $3 million a year.
Just to run it, just to keep it up.
And you know what? $3 million is a lot of money, but at bad times, it's a lot of money. So I said, you know what? I'll probably have bad times again someday. I want to make sure that this little sucker is taken care of. So it's really, it's just going to be a great thing, and very, very successful.
Would you ever run for politics, or would you worry about them going after your life? I mean, messing up your life, messing up you too. How would you feel if he went into politics?
I think he would do terrific.
There's a certain dishonesty, unfortunately, that you need for running for office. Now, it's an unfortunate thing, but you would know this perhaps better than anybody in the world, right?
All right, so here's Trump's answer to whether he would run for office and what they would do to him. Now, guys, do you think that Trump actually predicted all the stuff that would happen to him if he ran for office? Let's know in the chat, okay? Let's talk about it. Jen Johnson says this, and she doesn't look like she's a Trump supporter. Jen Johnson says, this was one of his fluff pieces meant to boost popularity with the average person in preparation for him for his run. This was 1995, Jen. Okay, not 2015. Okay, so shortly after this was his public spat with O'Donnell that showed us how low he's willing to go just to win an argument. Okay, so that is what Jen feels like. All right, now Stunner 33 with 604 likes said, when I saw him at the 2015 Republican debates, the way he took on Jeb Bush, my jaw hit the floor. Here was this fellow saying things I had always believed deep inside, but could never articulate. He was wiping the floor with career politicians with truths I'd always felt. Wow. Now, this is a very strong comment. Let's know if you think and feel the same way about President Trump, that he says the things that you've always said, always thought, but you never really had the means or the words to articulate them. All right, so let's keep going. There's more comments coming, and I'm going to read your chat. So I can see chats are coming in, so keep them coming. We're going to read your chats at the end of this. Okay.
I've coached a few.
I'm a pretty straight guy, and I'm not sure that somebody that really calls it like it is and says this is what you have to do. I'm not sure that kind of a guy gets elected. Maybe so, maybe not. Everybody wants me to do it. They all want me to run. But I would take a much harder stand. I'd take a much more difficult stand, I would say. Make a couple of enemies. I think I'd make a lot of friends ultimately. But I'm not sure that type of person is really electable.
If the United States government took a firmer stand with foreign countries, would we be better off, or are we so much now a part of the community of nations that we can't really afford to offend anybody?
I think we'd be better off, and I think we'd be far more respected. I just think that people would have far greater respect for this country.
All right, so I'm going to read the rest of the comments that I have lined up, and then I'm going to go into the chat. So if you want me to read your chat, okay, post it right now. I'm going to read your chat. Quantum Stories says rich people do not like Donald Trump. And on his inauguration, he had about 10 or more billionaires lined up on the front line, closer to him than any other people there. Lol. So if you listen to the interview, Quantum Stories, he says that rich people don't like him, but they call him whenever they need something. All of the rich people, the billionaires who were at his inauguration, need something from Trump, like they always have. Okay. So I think we should get our stories and our facts and context straight. Okay. So Quantum Stories trying to make it look like, oh, haha, billionaires are sitting in front of, at the inauguration. That shows he's dishonest. Rich people actually like him. No, they want something from him. That's why they were sitting right there, because they wanted to identify with the new person in the White House. Mike Butler says, and he got 856 likes. Fantastic. He says, he's consistent, but because he's genuine. President Trump didn't have to do what he's done. He didn't have to run for office, be threatened, prosecuted, slandered, vilified, shot. He's a rich 79-year-old. He could have just retired and played golf. All right, so that is the comment that came in. So I'll make this statement before I jump into the chat. Okay, so if you want me to read your chat, now is the time to post it in. Just get into the chat and post your comments. I'm going to read your live comments right after this. Now, this is the same guy, the same words he's been saying for 30 years. Now, whether that's a feature or a bug, okay, the comments have already given me an idea, and your chats are about to give me a bigger picture of this. All right. Okay, so I have someone. So I have someone in the chat who essentially just came to have TDS diarrhea. All right, and I did promise earlier that I was going to respect the audience and only read chats that make sense. And I'm sorry, Mr. Something Else, your chat doesn't qualify because you simply you simply went into the comment section and you just had TDS diarrhea. And I'm not going to subject the audience to the nonsense that you put up there. So I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry you feel that way about President Trump. You didn't address any of the things that he said. You didn't address any of the points that were raised. You simply showed up here is um I hate Trump. I don't like his hair. I don't like his voice. I have TDS. Bye. That's all that's there in the chat. So I did promise that I was only going to read comments that were reasonable. If you hate Trump, tell us why, policy wise. Okay, why you don't like him? Is it his policies? Okay, but it can't be just like this. Isn't kindergarten. Okay, it's not kindergarten where you just hate somebody because you're told to hate someone, or MSNBC told you to hate him, CNN told you to hate him. Why do you hate him? This is the same guy in 1995. Okay, he said here he wasn't thinking of running for office because it was a horrible process to go through, and finally he did run, and everything he said in 1995 is happening today. Okay, because he called it out. Okay, he called it. um um let's see. Now you have Zabot 51. Thank you for dropping the comment in the chat. All right, he has delivered jobs to all people, all races. Awesome. Like there's a speech that he made at Jesse Jackson's event in 1999. And there was another speech he made at Jesse Jackson's event in 1998. I think eventually we're going to live stream those two speeches, and you're going to see how much he cares about minorities. You're going to see how much he cared about minorities. And he said that his work crews have a large number, or had, and I think has, is still effective, has a large number of minorities. So when people jump up and repeat what they've been told to say by CNN and MSNBC and mainstream media that essentially want you to hate him, and it's not based on fact and history, okay? Forget what mainstream media started saying about him in 2015 and 2016 and onwards. Go back 20, 30, 40 years to content about Donald Trump. Okay. Now, I wouldn't say that everybody loved Trump. Okay, that would not be true. Everybody didn't love Trump. Okay, but everyone had a fair idea of what he was about. Black rappers love to put Trump in their songs. Today, he's Satan. Okay, in fact, Satan has a better rep than Trump does with rappers. You see rappers coming up and glorifying Satan at the Grammys, but they will say F Trump at the Grammys. They praise Satan, but they hate Trump. I mean, it's crazy. Zabot 51 again says he used to be a Democrat till they went crazy. I was too. Wow. Zabot 51, you were a Democrat. Now, I always did say that that if I had grown up in the United States, I would have grown up a Democrat because my mom loved Jesse Jackson. My mom loved um, Jimmy Carter. Okay. So I would have grown up influenced by all of that, and I would have been a Democrat. But you know what? You can't see all of the policies that they push today with a good conscience unless you're just someone who loves things like that. Okay, if your heart is shaped in that way, then there's no surprise that you would support Democrat policies. All right, now I have someone else here. um Yara, Yara 12 stones coming to smear Donald Trump. I don't read smears, okay? I read common sense. Hello, intergalactic wrangler. Welcome, 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 welcome. Good to see you again. All right, guys. Now I'm reading real live comments, and we're going to be. If you have more things to say, put them in now because we're going to be wrapping up. For most of you, your lunch breaks are uh wrapping up. So I want to see how much more we can get in here before we say goodbye. We're going to be doing more live streams. Okay. Last year we did a lot of live streams on the main channel. We did a lot of live streams on the main channel. Now we created this live channel specifically for live streaming, and so we're going to be having more live streaming. Zabot 51. Okay, so before I read Zabot 51's chat, okay, if you're watching us for the first time, this is the first time you're finding our content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification button so that whenever we go live, you get notified. And if you want more deep dive archives, okay, because we're building up an archive of historical content and speeches and interviews. We're going to be getting interviews from Democrats from 20, 30 years ago. We're going to listen to what the Democrats said then, and then we're going to be looking at what they're saying today. Okay, for the person who wrote the comment talking about how changing your position on things is a sign of maturity, I'm sorry. You can't change your position to say that poop is now food. Okay, that is essentially what Democrat policies have become. They tell you that poop is food, and you're a bigot if you say otherwise. All right. So when you change your position on fundamental things that spell survival, okay, it doesn't make you progressive. It doesn't make you mature or grown up. Okay, it makes you crazy. Zabot 51 says, I voted for Obama for the first term till he did nothing he promised. But how many presidents, now let me know in the chat, guys, how many presidents have fulfilled over 50% of their campaign promises? How many? From the last count, President Trump has fulfilled over 80% of his campaign promises. Okay, now let me know in the chat. Okay, I would love to know what your answers are. Do you have anyone who has fulfilled even 50% of their campaign promises other than President Trump? Intergalactic Wrangler says they are a bunch of liars. Just got to pick your flavor. I'm thankful Trump is in office, or the Dems would have squandered the American money away and be invaded with ideology. All right. Now I put your chats on the screen so everyone can see what I'm reading. I don't edit, I don't editorialize. I give you my thoughts, but I don't editorialize your comments or your chat on the screen. Okay, so there's a lot to pick from. Now, for all of the people who put up your chat, I want to say thank you. I'm grateful that you were able to put up your thoughts. It is a brave thing to do. Okay. So Zabot 51 is giving us a response. Okay. Trump and Roosevelt, who took us out of the Depression. Okay. Now, Roosevelt was a Democrat. Okay. Yeah. So that's what he's saying. All right. So, guys, come on, send in your comments in the chat. Okay, I can see all the lurkers just sitting and watching and having fun. All right, so we're going to be reading more of your comments. Come on, want to read more of your comments. Okay, thank you. Naturally done says, I support Trump, but I don't know about this war. Of course, I don't have all the information that he does. And okay, so everyone who supports Trump, everyone that I know who supports Trump has this thing where there's something that Trump does that I support. There's this thing that I don't know about, I'm not sure. And the war is a big no-no for a lot of people. Why? Because no new wars was the campaign promise. But naturally done. And now this is a question, it's not a pushback. It's not a pushback. Is this a new war? Okay, is this a new war, or is it a war that Trump is simply trying to end because um, Iran has been screaming, or at least the IRGC that rules Iran, because there's a difference between the IRGC and the Iranian people. Okay, I watch videos that are so crazy, like bombs are dropping on the IRGC, and the Iranian people are sitting on rooftops playing music and celebrating that the IRGC is getting bombed. It's a crazy thing to watch. Now, I want to ask the question: if a regime has been screaming death to America for 47 years and has been sponsoring terror against American soldiers and American embassies for that period of time, hasn't that regime been at war with America for 47 years? So it's all well and good when you say, when we don't want a new war, but when someone has been at war with you for 47 years and somebody stands up to say, okay, we're no longer going to capitulate, we're going to end this war and cut off the head of this monster, okay, is that a good thing? Is that a good thing? I just want to know, because like, these are my thoughts on the whole thing. Yes, we don't all have all the information about the war that Trump does. We don't. Okay, but we shouldn't believe the mainstream media, because for most of us, we can see that they've lied to us for a long time. They've been lying to us about a lot of things. They lied to us about the super cough. Okay, you know what the super cough is. They lied to us about so many things. If there's something that you're upset with the mainstream media about, that they lied to you about, put it in the chat and I'm going to read it out. Zabot51 said, Roosevelt made all the freeways and national parks 90 years ago. It's insane that not so much not so much has been built for a long time in the United States. There has been this rush to spend all of the money that has been built up by your ancestors. Okay, America, they've been pillaging your country for years. So it's crazy that you're pointing this out. Thank you, Zabot51. Um, Naturally Don says, yes, I see your point. Yeah, like, and to be honest, okay, I don't want to appear to be like a war apologist. I hate war. I hate it. I don't like the loss of life. I don't even like to see bad people get killed. Like, or I'll be honest, a- any death is sad. Okay, any death is sad. And that's why it confuses me when people go on social media and celebrate when a conservative gets killed. It confuses me, because everyone should feel horrified when that kind of violence happens. And it also bothers me when people go on social media and call for violence against someone they don't like. It's been so normalized that it is so disturbing. Yeah. So naturally done. Yes, I'm glad you see my point, but we must always walk that fine line, okay, of saying, okay, we don't want conflict. But if anyone threatens my homeland, if anyone threatens my citizens, we have to do something about it. All right. Now, naturally done, in 3, 4, 5 years, we might get more information, and we might have to, say, e- either the information changes our minds, or the information essentially gives us more detail on why this was a good idea. Okay. So we can only go by what we've known historically about the IRGC. And we can only pray that the president is doing the right thing for the United States. We can't accuse him of doing something wrong without the facts. And that is what a lot of the left leaning talking heads are doing. They are attacking the president because they don't like the president, like some of the chats we've seen come earlier. Okay. They don't like him. They don't like the sound of his voice. Guys, I have a family member I was speaking with a few days ago, someone that I love dearly. And we were talking about something completely different. And then they bring up Trump. and said something that they said Trump is trying to erase American history. And I said, no. I've listened to most of his speeches. He's never said that. And then they ended the call. They said, okay, I have to go do something else, and ended the call. Whenever you bring facts to these conversations, it's as if these people who have been conditioned to hate Trump just run away. They don't want to engage with the facts. They simply have been told by MSNBC, hates Trump, hates Trump. And when they are confronted with the facts, I think the facts are too painful for them to handle. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you've encountered someone that you love deeply and they hate Trump so much, but they can't stand the facts that you present when you have these conversations with them. Let me know in the chat. Let's see. I have somebody that is essentially having TDS diarrhea. Well, thank you for posting your thoughts in the chat. I appreciate it, but I'm not going to read it, okay? Lucia, sorry, I'm not going to read your diarrhea. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, Zabot 51. I didn't read your chat. Okay, so I'm going to read it. Zabot 51 says, I'm afraid of the Iranian cells here since I live in Dearborn. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm going to be praying for you guys in Dearborn. Okay, I'm going to be praying for you guys in Dearborn because I've been seeing a lot of content that disturbs me. I'll be praying for you guys. That's why I'm scared of the war. But that's not Trump's fault. If something happens, it's because of all the illegals still here. Yeah, yeah. People who have refused to integrate, people who have refused to assimilate, to embrace American culture. Years ago, when people moved to United States, they came to become Americans. They didn't come to change America to look like the countries they fled from. Okay, so I don't understand it myself, Zabot 51. Um, Intergalactic Wrangler says we will see aliens before this Iran war is ever over. I think it will continue through proxy even after an occupation. Well, I hope not, Intergalactic Wrangler. I hope not, but I don't know that the amount of work that has gone on through the IRGC for 47 years. Just imagine now. I'm going to speak very carefully. Imagine, medically speaking, someone who has been carrying a cancer for 47 years. Now, you don't know any cancer that has lasted that long. Usually the person, passes on before it goes that long. But imagine a cancer that has been running for 47 years. How much work would it take to root out every part of the body where the cancer has spread to? It's a crazy thing, and it's a scary thought, Intergalactic Wrangler. And then we have Intergalactic Wrangler also saying we don't send the Marines without wanting to use them, in my opinion. Yeah, so the Marines are there. Early in January, when people said, well, Trump isn't exactly going to do anything about Iran, I said, well, you don't ship billions of dollars worth of hardware to the Middle East and not use it. Okay. And eventually, when the bombs started dropping, I said, well, I told you guys so. Okay. So I didn't do a live stream to talk about it, but I did talk about a few people. I did talk about it with a few people privately. Zabot 51 says, they don't know that Democrats went nuts and Republicans are more like Democrats now. I'm 50 and I know this. Yeah, we watched it happen in real time. We did. Now, for those of us who are old enough to remember, I think we have a job to do. And I want to ask you, Zabot 51, Intergalactic Wrangler, and everyone else here that's been leaving reasonable conversations naturally done. I want to ask a question. Do you think that those of us who are older should find ways of teaching those who are younger about the way things were? Because there's essentially a revision of history going on today in real time. History is being rewritten, but you know who is doing the rewriting? The Democrats are doing the rewriting, and then they're accusing conservatives of rewriting history. Like, it's crazy to watch. It's crazy to watch. Um, Intergalactic Wrangler says it happened to Fetterman. Yes, it did. It's crazy to watch Fetterman. I tell people how I felt about Fetterman years ago and how I feel about him now. It's crazy how he's basically been the single voice of reason in the Democrat Party. I look. I don't. So, guys, I hope this doesn't make you see me any differently. I don't hate Democrats. I hate their policies. Their policies are very destructive. Okay, but I don't hate Democrats. I don't hate Chuck Schumer. I don't hate AOC. I don't. It's not about hating people. It's about calling out policies that are destructive. And I've seen some of these policies play out in my home country, in my country of origin. They've played out. It is not good. Tribalism, building a society based on tribalism is horrible. It is destructive. It will take America back. It will make America a third world country. Believe me. All right. Um, push your push your comments in very quickly because I want to get this in the next 4 minutes. Okay, put your comments in as much as you can before the next 4 minutes are up. I was totally against both George Bush's war criminals. Now it's the other side. How do you feel watching Democrats essentially supporting the enemy? The enemy that has been calling for death to America for 47 years. How does it feel? I'm trying to understand why that makes sense to Democrats. I am. Okay, let me know how that feels. Um Zabot 51 again says, I don't know if they are willing to learn. They scream and yell and can't discuss anything. I don't know either. And it's painful. Do you know that many times when I watch conservative voices and left-leaning voices, I can see a willingness to engage in conversations from the conservative side, but I can see an unwillingness to engage in good faith conversations on the leftist side. There's always this way that they want to finagle their way out of a good faith, common sense conversation around facts. And that essentially is what tells me that those people, those of them who are sold out on the ideology, are not willing to learn. They will ride this train over the waterfall, okay? And they will keep screaming that they are right as they go down. That's what's going to happen. So thanks for that comment, Zabot51. I hope you are subscribed to the channel, Zabot51. I would like to have you on the next show when we're taking comments. I would love to. And same for you to Naturally Done. I would love to have you as a part of this channel. Now, we have a Patreon. The Patreon is a website where I post the raw videos. This video that we just watched without all the interruptions is going to be on the Patreon. We're going to be discovering more videos that have been hidden or archived away that essentially tell us what all of the insanity that's going on today is about. We're going to be curating them on the Patreon. So if you're not on the Patreon, you can dip your toes in by simply, you know, getting a free membership. Okay, take a free membership. Okay, so simply go to crossroadsirl.com. Crossroadsirl.com. I'm going to be I'm going to type it in the chat in case I'm just going to type it in the chat. I'm sorry that I'm doing this. I didn't think that I would need to, but I'm just going to do that right now. Crossroadsirl.com. We're going to be archiving a lot of these videos there, because whenever these things are put on places like YouTube, somehow, do you feel like they get suppressed? Somehow I feel like they do. Okay. Okay. Intergalactic Wrangler says Obama was Bush's cousin, I believe. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I heard it. I saw the evidence. I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. It's crazy. Um, Intergalactic Wrangler says at the end of the day, the Uni Party still holds the most power, which is true. and which is what concerns a lot of us about 2028. 2028 is going to be one of those years where it's like, who knows what's going to happen. So let's do whatever we can, okay, now that we we have Trump in office. Who knows what's going to happen in 2028. um Zabot 51 says, I feel confused because I was a Democrat until the last 10 years. Yeah, it feels confusing. When I watched the 2016 campaign, that was what essentially opened my eyes. I saw the stuff going on with how they went after Trump. And meanwhile, I watched how they treated him years before that, and it just turned out that, look, I saw that there was something very wrong. And look, I celebrated when Obama was elected president. I did, the first black president. But after I saw his disastrous time in office, okay, it just didn't make sense. The thing that shocked me was the Iran nuclear deal. I think that was what woke me up to Obama's insanity. Okay. Yeah, you don't give nuclear weapons to people who actively say they want to destroy you. You don't do that. Zabot 51 says, I am subscribed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to read Lucia. Now, Lucia, I'm going to respect this chat, okay? You made a point, but you ended it with something that wasn't an insult, but it was heading there. But I'm going to read this. We don't want any more wars. Yes, we all agree on that, Lucia. We're all on the same page. We don't want any more wars. But Lucia, when a country says death to America consistently, when a country holds your citizens hostage for 444 days, when a country funds a terror group that invades another country and kidnaps American citizens and holds them for years, when a country sponsors, or when a regime sponsors bombings against American soldiers, they have been on a war footing against you for 47 years, Lucia. Okay, so it's not a new war, it's an old war that has been going on for a long time. And they've been trying to get nuclear missiles. Okay, so you need to understand this. Now, if now, Lucia, if in 5 years, if in 3 years, if in a year we get more information and it turns out that this entire war was a hoax, I will be first to come online and say, look, this was a hoax. But I'm going to do that. Okay, I am. So we're not fighting over who likes who. We're fighting over policy and truth. And let's see. So you say Iran was never a threat to me. Well, you can feel that way until you're in their crosshairs. Okay. Are you American? Are you liberal? Do you believe in women's rights? Okay. Then you are the enemy of these people. They don't believe in any of these things. Trump is full of lies. How do you know? What has he lied about? Okay. Some people think that he exaggerates, he doesn't lie. I think he does tell some lies. He does. Anyone who hasn't told a lie, throw the first stone. Okay, he just has a camera running while he's lying. Okay, so I will agree with you. Yes, he tells lies, but I wouldn't say he's full of lies. That's an exaggeration. And you said use your brain. I am. Okay, I am using my brain. Okay, so Zabot 51 says, where's my free healthcare, Obama? Well, now, Lucia, Obama promised that you could keep your doctors. He lied. He promised that that healthcare would not get one dime, 1 cent more expensive than it was when he was proposing Obamacare. How's it working out for you? So if you're going to say one president lied, you have to call out all the other presidents that also lied. Okay, yes, and Zabot 51 said something very true. All politicians lie, period. And that is why you have to make them work for your vote. They have to be truthful. They must tell the truth. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to say uh goodbye now. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification button so that you get notified when we go live. I will be like I said earlier, we're going to be doing more lives like this. and we're going to be talking with you in the chat. All we want is to have a decent conversation and look at the facts, okay? Thank you, Zabot51, for your chat. I love the chats that you've given during this session. I would love to see more of you in future live streams. Zabot51 also says Obama promised free healthcare and it didn't work out. Lucia, thank you for engaging in the chat. Yes, we may not agree on everything, but at least we did eventually have a conversation about your thoughts on this. All right. I hope you stick around. Okay. I don't like cancel culture. So if you want to stick around and see what more we can talk about, you're welcome to. Okay. We may not agree on making blanket statements like saying Trump is full of lies, but we do agree that we don't want any more wars. Okay. Intergalactic Wrangler, thank you. Intergalactic Wrangler is a veteran. He's an oldie. Okay, so thank you for being a part of the live stream yet again. And then we have Naturally Done. Thank you so much for that awesome comment that you made, and thank you for the conversation. Yeah, so we're going to be doing this more often, and I'm looking forward to coming up during lunchtime and having these live streams. And I hope you will consider joining us during the next live stream. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Zabot51. Thank you, Intergalactic Wrangler. Thank you, Lucia. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.